And then, Anthony, we finally got to the main event.
which saw the head of the table and the tribal chief Roman Reigns defend the undisputed WWE Universal Championship against hometown boy Sami Zayn.
And it was interesting. They said a couple of things early in this which made me think, oh, I think maybe Sammy might go over. I didn't think he would, but they said a couple of things because Michael Cole actually said, well, it's been 3 years since the tribal chief was pinned. 902 days as champion. But then they referred to 1977 when Bruno had the belt for 8 years, not 3, 8 years. And he was defeated in Montreal by Montreal's own Ivan Koloff, which of course had been billed as the Russian Bear. And he goes, would history repeat itself in Montreal, like it did in 1977? I thought, oh. And they just, look, you couldn't really see him going over, but it was going to be the interest in the way they did it. But the crowd was absolutely fever pitch. I don't know if you watched SmackDown yesterday.
No, I didn't know.
That was the longest standing ovation pop. It went, I think it was about 7.5 minutes for Sammy.
Mm.
Yeah, he only had about 1.5 minutes of time left to actually talk. He didn't really get a chance to say it. And then, of course, the crowd was absolutely at fever pitch again. So to build the crowd to that sort of frenzy, that really sort of, I mean, you know yourself, that says plenty.
Well,
it was almost goosebump moment.
I want to say this is one of the best storylines I've put together in about 20 years. I want to say that in about 20 years, the best storyline. I mean, technically the match was brilliant, right?
Yeah, it was a good match.
It was a good match.
Yeah.
The psychology was brilliant, All right, so I said recently on a couple of podcasts that I think one of the best matches I've seen for a very, very long time was between Gunther and Sheamus with the way they worked, right?
Yeah.
As a style, as a hard-hitting style.
Mm.
I'm going to say this one for psychology and energy and emotion. This is probably the best match I've seen in 20 plus years. This is attitude era stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And I wrote here in a different color pen, so I'd remember to say, but it just proves what you can create with good booking.
That's right.
Sami Zayn is no Hulk Hogan. He's a
Mick Foley technically.
Yeah, very an anorexic Mick Foley.
Yeah.
But again, and like it's sort of preachy to the converted, but it's all about the emotion you create. It's the story. It is the genuine soap opera that has got you absolutely hooked, and you got to keep watching because I know what's going on, and I'm a mark for the story. That's all I actually tune in to watch.
That's right.
And
that's right.
I was, and the fever pitch last night on SmackDown, and then again today when I say you can't write that stuff, I mean obviously they did, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but you got to deliver it too. You got to deliver it like it means something, and they both guys have delivered. The whole group has delivered it.
The whole group,
from Heyman all the way down, have delivered.
Yeah.
And I'll explain my Mick Foley comment. Right, it's not the way he works or his looks.
No.
He's always going to be a fan favorite, Sami Zayn. He's always been a fan favorite for a long time, but he's not that guy that's the world champion. No. The only way Sami Zayn would become world champion is what happened with Foley, where they had a whole heap of injuries. They had a whole heap of guys out, and he was the next one on the list after 5 or 6 guys. And that's not having to go at Mick Foley. That's just how it was, right?
He deserves a run, but
he just. But I'm saying is that's if you had Austin Rock, Triple H. Kurt Angle, you're not going to get an opportunity, right? And at the current point, he's not going to beat Roman Reigns. He's not going to beat Cody Rhodes. He's not going to. Read, I'm saying, Gunther. But he's in that talk of a fan favorite, right?
Oh, God,
that's why I spoke to him about he's like Mick Foley. Mick Foley was a fan favorite. He was not the best looking guy. He had great charisma and great storytelling ability, which Sami Zayn has. Got great charisma and great storytelling ability, right? right? But he hasn't got the greatest physique in the world. He ain't the biggest guy in the world. He ain't friggin' well got that look that that you walk down, you look like Lex Luger, right?
Yeah.
You haven't got that look, but he's got his fan favorite, right? So I said that actually to Anthony in the podcast today when I was saying to him that it's he's a fan favorite, but I can't ever see him being champion unless a whole heap of guys fall off the edge of the page because of injury or something, right? But the story these two guys told, especially Roman Reigns, which has been really underrated in all of this, right? He is so good.
Oh,
It's
God.
almost sad there isn't an Austin, or there isn't a Rock, or there isn't a somebody that from that ability with his. And I'm hoping Cody Rhodes can give him that person that can give him that, not only the physical but intellectual side ability of the energy and the feeling of the match. That's what Sami gave him in all of this.
Yeah.
You know,
I just the whole thing was structured, Anthony, as I saw it, like sort of layer. Like, you know, he comes out and he gets a massive pop, and then, you know, his wife, his father, his brother are in the crowd, front row, in attendance. And then, you know, at one point early in the match when they're outside and Roman's talking to the wife of Sami, I was doing this for you. I was trying to help you. Like, they made it
personal.
Like the word personal. Yeah, exactly. I was umming and ahhing whether to use the word personal, but they made it personal. They made it real. Like, I think both of them absolutely. I was actually quite taken with the match, and it's the first match we've ever done a podcast in that 1, 2, 3 that I've written 4.5 pages of notes. I've never done that. 2 pages max.
I was quite the opposite. I wrote bugger all because I was so into it.
Well, yeah, I was.
That's for me. Like, for me, if I'm not really into a match, I can write pages because I'm critiquing.
Yeah.
But I was so into the match, I had to write afterwards.
Well, because I was watching it on replay, I could pause a minute, write a couple of notes, and then put it back because I didn't want to miss certain things that I thought. But just the flow of the match, you know, the early ascendancy was Sami, and then when he sort of dived off the top rope, over the top rope at Reigns at the start, you know, Roman Reigns sort of got a bit of control back. It was there was no comebacks in it, was there, Anthony? Like, it wasn't that somebody is all over you for half a match. Like, it was, you know, he's over a bit, then the other one comes back. Then, I don't know, was it more...
It was give and take. A lot of
it was quite evenly balanced. Like, they both had enough of the match each. And they both got all their shots in.
And the thing I liked about it was Roman sold him with almost disbelief that he could do this.
Yeah.
So like I think Roman almost come in looking like, well, I can beat this guy easy. It's going to be like an easy night for me. And then at the end of it, towards the end, he's going, what have I got to do to put this guy away?
Yeah, and how many 2 and 7, 8 counts was there? Yeah. The big sunset power bomb. That was bloody good.
Yeah,
that sunset power bomb, and then the blue thunder bomb, and each one of them, and then when Sami took the spears and all that, and you thought, okay, well, that's it. And last second, you know, I thought it was really, really, really good. I thought they were both absolutely exhausted. I think they gave it all. But the interesting thing was, obviously 2 referees got taken out. You could see the one happening, and that when they're back into the corner, they thought, okay, here we go. This is where it's all going to unravel a bit. And then, Jimmy came out. And then, they get the second referee, and he's Superman punch, and then Heyman gets a chair and gives it to Roman, and all of that. But how Jey Uso appeared, he just seemed to appear. I didn't see anything. Next thing I just see he was there when Jey came.
Yeah, that was a bit.
I don't know where he came from, but and there was no crowd reaction till like they didn't see him coming, unless he came through the crowd or something.
And there's no outcome to the end of all this.
Well, this is interesting now because, which is what I wanted to ask you and Anthony, your thoughts. So, yeah, Jay Uso appears. He's staring down. The da-da-da. Roman gives him the chair. But Jay's not going to take out Sami with the chair. So he paintbrushes, Roman paintbrushes Jay, pushes him aside, takes the chair, rah, rah, rah. So where does that go now? I mean, I know Kevin Owens comes out, and the likelihood is Kevin Owens and Sami will team up. But will they take the tag belts?
Well, Sami speared Jay accidentally.
Yeah, inadvertently.
Yeah, accidentally, but that started a feud between him and Jay now. Jay thinks he done it deliberately. I don't know if that's what they're looking for. I don't know if that's what they're looking for. See, whether you can't trust this guy. His brother Jimmy starts telling him you can't trust him. Look, he speared you, and then they go against each other. I don't know. I don't know what they're trying.
Whether they bring Jay back in, and then you've got Kevin Owens and Sami versus the Usos.
It's very murky at the moment.
Which is not a bad thing, because the way I'm looking at it, could be Kevin Owens and Sami versus the Usos, or it could not be that at all. But something's going to have to happen with the tag titles. Well, you've definitely got Reigns and Cody at WrestleMania, so we know that what Roman's going to be doing. And interesting, Solo Sikoa wasn't around.
Yeah.
And if people, will tell you that he couldn't get there because of his, what do you call it in America? DUI or DIU? What do they call
that was Jimmy. Jimmy's got the DUI.
Jimmy and Jay, but then they somehow got permission for both of them to come.
Yeah, maybe.
So I don't know.
Don't know.
Yeah, is it now going to be Jimmy and Solo versus maybe Sami and Jay? And Kevin Owens, was on some other program. What do you think, Anthony? There's a few things that could happen. The only certainty is Reigns and Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, but there's a certain thing, but I guess you can pull the whole thing of, well, whether it be inadvertent, right?
Yeah.
Zayn still speared Jay.
Yeah, but yeah.
Even though it was inadvertent.
Yeah.
But that still happened. And I guess because in some way, well, you had Owens save Zayn, so they've obviously so that's how you get them back together.
And the way they were looking at each other, and how, if you notice as well, Anthony, and I thought it was really important, the body language and how Kevin Owens was, of course, also from Montreal, so was always had to come out at some point and get the big pop as well. But it was almost like, Sami, I sort of told you, but through it all, I was the one here for you. And so
he saved. But remember, Sami saved Owens only a few.
Yeah. So is there going to be this emotional, we love each other, we're all back together again, and then they're going to go after? Well, they could probably only go after the tag titles at this stage.
Yeah. Well, I think, look, at the moment, it's really murky. There's only 2 matches you really see at WrestleMania. You'll say, well, these are definitely going to happen. 3. Oh, there's 4.
Okay.
Right.
There's Oscar and Belair.
Oscar Belair. You've got Rhea and Flair. You've got
Reigns and
Cody and then you've got
Logan Paul and Seth.
And Seth Rollins. They're the 4 that you actually can see happening.
Yeah, well,
at this point, so obviously the tag titles need to be sorted out in the next.
Because it was interesting, you got a big pay-per-view lead up to WrestleMania. No Drew McIntyre, no Sheamus, no what's his name, Gunther, no. There's a lot of guys. I mean, you can't put everyone in, so there's still a lot of sort of storylines to.
You'd have to have Gunther and Austin Theory on the WrestleMania cards because they're belts.
Oh, yeah.
They're belts. So whoever they're going against, they'll have to be.
Who would Theory go against? Because maybe Montez Ford?
It could be Montez Ford.
Chris? Oh, actually, yeah, it could be. The other thing that could happen is if you talk the tag titles, which I doubt they would do. But what if the Usos got stripped of the titles because Jay didn't turn up and they had to forfeit or something? And then you've all of a sudden got 2 sets of belts again. And you might have Sheamus and Drew versus the Viking Warriors for one lot. And then maybe Kevin Owens and Sammy for the other lot, or
Yeah, look, it
there's a
could
few
be.
things that could
that's
happen.
a possibility. That's a
And then
possibility. I mean,
Heyman didn't take a very good stunner, I must admit.
no, he didn't. He went down to one knee.
He went to one knee, and then
the punches were hilarious that he gave to
when he
Kevin
sort of,
Owens.
it was almost like he
Slapping.
was slapping him like a bit
Yeah.
slap.
But I love. Look, for me,
I love Heyman.
I love Heyman. The way his mannerisms, even outside the ring, when something's not going right, when he's praying in the corner, he's got everything going on.
He is. He's the package.
He is. When it comes to management and you've
got
a
mouthpiece.
Yeah, you got. And if Condom learns how to talk, right? You got that again in a young guy. You know, the other part that was hilarious too. I'll go on with Condom about it, right? We're going to call him Condom, so it needs to be Condom's going to be the name.
Well, he's a con because he was in jail and his name's Dom. So,
so
Condom.
when he went out on the Valentine's Day, he kicked his mum and dad out the table, and his old man's cancelled all his credit cards and that, and he went to pay and he had no money.
And Rhea Ripley had to pay.
Yeah, so that kind of thing.
I missed that bit. What was that?
Was that on SmackDown, Anthony? I was on Raw.
It was just a social media skit.
Yeah, social media.
Oh,
okay.
Was it? Okay.
But what I'm saying is, it's just now.
Yeah.
Now I've got no money. My daddy's not looking after me anymore. There's so many things you can do.
It's almost like the spoiled rich kid who's
he was. He was. I mean, do you think he ever wanted in his life with his old man? Never. Would have never wanted. I mean, his old man didn't come. I don't know if his old man was destitute, but they didn't come from big money.
No.
They were a wrestling family, so they might have come from reasonable, maybe not much. Yeah, right. But he would have grown up in the top schools, and I think is he from? I think San Francisco. Was it San Diego? Right. It's not a cheap area, mate. You know, I don't think that. That Dom ever worried about if he was going to get the new PlayStation or not.
Well, if your dad's been at the top of the tree for about 25 years on some great contracts at WCW and WWE and Japan, and you wouldn't think he'd be short of $1.
No, and I think he's got.
I think he's probably been one of the smarter ones that actually did something with his money, as opposed to a lot of them that have either pissed it up or drugged it up.
And I think he's got ownership or part ownerships in either AAA or CMLW. So in Mexico, so he's got money invested in other promotions, right? So that's not a problem. But he pays the I want to be a hard ass, but is ready to go back to mum and dad's credit card. I love it. I love everything about what they're doing with Judgment Day at the moment. The best thing I believe they ever did was got rid of have Edge out of it. When he decided not to be in it anymore, that was the best thing they ever did. Because that group is because Edge would have just held it back. Would have been all about Edge. You wouldn't have had Condom. You wouldn't have had any of that. So, no, I think it's great what they've done there.
And now that you've got Edge and Beth Phoenix having a good, decisive win, I suppose that finishes that. So there'd be nothing at WrestleMania there, would there?
I hope Edge wanders off back into retirement and we keep Beth around.
Yeah, I think it'll be the other way around somehow.
You can only hope.
You can. So what did we give this one out of 10, boys?
I gave it an 8.
8.
Sorry?
8.
Oh, I went 9.
Yeah, no, it's worth a 9.
Oh, it had me in. I'm sitting there thinking, I know better than this, but I'm invested.
I think that's the best.
And that's the
build up to a match.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Best build up to a match on a storyline
that actually delivered
since the Attitude Era.
Yeah, and it delivered. Opposed to before, we were talking about Lashley and Brock. You had this massive build-up, and the guys nutted before he even got into bed. It is just. There are so many more matches you could have put on that would have had a far better entertainment outcome than those two. And it's a shame, but they're both world class. They're no mugs. But so very, very interesting, Anthony. Overall, and then of course